Hey guys, BJ with Very Basic Bible. Going to do a Bible quick read. Going to read for 7 minutes at a time through the book of Esther. Okay, here we go. Start the timer now. Now it happened in the days of Ahasuerus, the Ahasuerus who reigned from India to Kush over 127 provinces. In those days, as King Ahasuerus sat on his royal throne, which was at the citadel in Susa, in the 3rd year of his reign, he held a banquet for all his officials and attendants, the army officers of Persia and Media, the nobles and the officials of his province, in his presence. At that time, he displayed the riches of his royal glory and the splendor of his great majesty for many days, 180 days. Dude had a banquet for all these people lasting 180 days. Listen to this. When these days were finished, the king held a banquet lasting 7 days for all the people who were present at the citadel in Susa, from the greatest to the least, in the courtyard of the garden of the king's palace. Oh, a banquet for everyone, from the greatest to the least. Okay. There were curtains of fine white and violet linen held by cords of fine purple linen on silver rings and marble columns, couches of gold and silver on a mosaic floor of porphyry, marble, mother of pearl, and mineral stones. This dude is stacked. He's loaded. He's got money. Drinks were served in golden vessels in various kinds, and the royal wine was plentiful in proportion to the king's bounty. Lots of wine. But the drinking was done according to the royal law. There was no compulsion, for so the king had given orders to each official of his household that he was to do as each person pleased. So, drink as much as you want or as little as you want. And Queen Vashti also held a banquet for the women in the palace, which belonged to King Ahasuerus. I guess the men and the women, they banqueted separately. On the 7th day of that final feast, when the heart of the king was cheerful with wine, he ordered Mehuman, Biztha, Harbona, Bigtha, Abagatha, Zethar, and Carcass, the 7 eunuchs who served in the presence of King Ahasuerus, to bring Queen Vashti before the king with her royal turban in order to display her beauty to the people and the officials, for she was beautiful. But Queen Vashti refused to come at the king's order delivered by the eunuchs. So the king became very angry, and his wrath burned within him. Then the king said to the wise men who understood the times, for it was the custom of the king to speak this way before all who knew Persian law and justice. The wise men understood Persian law and justice and who were close to him. Namely, who were these wise men who were close to him and understood the Persian law of justice? And the Karshina, Shether, Admatha, Tarshish, Maris, Marsina, and Mimikan, the 7 officials of Persia and Media who had access to the king's presence and sat in the first place in the kingdom. Open parentheses. According to law, what is to be done with Queen Vashti, since she did not obey the command of King Ahasuerus delivered by the eunuchs? Okay. And in the presence of the king and their other officials, Mimikan said, Mimikan is one of the 7 right here. How does the Mimikan answer the king's question? Queen Vashti has wronged not only the king, but also all the officials and all the peoples who are in all the provinces of King Ahasuerus. For the queen's conduct will become known to all the women so as to make their own husbands despicable in their sight. When they say, King Ahasuerus commanded that Queen Vashti be brought into his presence, but she did not come, they're afraid the women are going to be like, I don't have to come. The queen didn't come. And this day, the wives of the officials of Persia and Media who had heard about the queen's conduct will talk about it to all the king's officials, and there will be plenty of contempt and anger. No good. Don't want that anger and contempt. If it pleases the king, let a royal edict be issued by him And let it be written in the laws of Persia and Media, so that it cannot be repealed, that Vashti may not come into the presence of King Ahasuerus, and let the king give her a royal position to another who is more worthy than she. So what's the edict? Vashti no longer able to come to the king's presence. And hey, we're going to give somebody else, we're going to make somebody else the queen. Let it be written in the laws of Persian media, cannot be repealed. Okay. When the king's edict, which he will make, is heard throughout his kingdom, great as it is, then all women will give honor to their husbands, great and small. Women are going to hear about this and be like, uh-oh, I'm giving honor to my husband. So, close parentheses. Now this word pleased the king and the officials, and the king did as Mimican proposed. So he sent letters to all the king's provinces, to each province according to its script, and to every people according to their language. Remember, 127 provinces. They're going to be different languages. So why did he send the letters to every province? So that every man was to be the ruler in his own house and the one who speaks in the language of his own people, proclaiming that every man should be ruler over his own household using his native tongue, and should say whatever he pleases. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but we know that, hey, you get that letter, the women will see, uh-oh, my husband's the one in charge. That's what they assume. Okay, here we go. Chapter 2. After these things, when the anger of King Ahasuerus had subsided, he remembered Vashti and what she had done, and what had been decided regarding her. He's got no wife. Then the king's attendants who served him said, let beautiful young virgins be sought for the king, and may the king appoint overseers in all the provinces of his kingdom, and have them bring every beautiful young virgin to the citadel of Susa. Uh-oh. There we go, guys. 7 minutes. Come to the next very basic Bible quick read, and we'll pick up right here. Remember, if you want detailed exposition, if you want detailed scholarly long teaching, underneath the video will be verse by verse teachings you can go to and get longer detailed teaching. But for now, this quick read is over. God bless.